He's in the 5th or 6th year, I think. I don't know. I lose track of the number of years of these contracts. It's maybe just 3rd or 4th year of his latest deal. He does really long deals, which makes it hard to accumulate the kind of leverage that we've seen other quarterbacks accumulate. The shorter, the better. He's got 3 years left on his current contract. There was an item from Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com on Friday that looked at the current relationship between Rodgers and the Packers from the perspective of unnamed agent, unnamed scout, unnamed executive offering opinions. And I'm never a big fan, for my own purposes, of trafficking in unnamed opinion because unless you know who it is, or at least unless you have some context as to who it is, you never quite know what agenda the person giving the opinion might have. And this is a corollary to the pre-draft stuff where the anonymous scout says something bad about a prospect because the anonymous scout is hoping that that prospect will be there when his team picks. But the one thing that stood out to me, and this is the difference in my mind between Chris' anonymous opinion and anonymous fact,
right?
The unnamed agent saying that he has a client, and they called me about one of my players and said, hey, this is where we are now, and until we get something big done, hint, hint, we don't have any cap space, and that's something big, hint, hint, is number 12, running into the end zone and sticking the ball over the goal line and throwing the ball down the field in the divisional round win over the L.A. Rams. That's the something big they need to do, and the irony there is, Chris, they had the absolute right. We brought this up a week or so ago, and I've since gotten the contract language. They have the absolute right to convert salary, roster bonus, etc., into a signing bonus that would give them a lower cap number this year. The problem is it makes it harder next year if next year is the year when they would decide to trade him. It makes it more of a cap charge because it all accelerates into next year's cap if they kick the can now. So they haven't done it. And I don't know what you can do. What do you do? How do you create cap space without pushing it into future years that would then come due if you decide after this year you want to move on? I think that's why the Packers are currently stuck right now. I don't think Mark Murphy wants to be in a position where if I decide after this season I'm moving to Jordan Love, I'm taking this gigantic cap hit that keeps us from doing business.
No, probably not. That's why I brought it up last week. I think it was Tuesday, right? Because I was watching the Aaron Rodgers Jeopardy on Monday going, wait, and started to think about some of these things and was just thinking about football. And I know that, of course, we all know Green Bay is a little bit of at the bottom of the league as far as salary cap, their situation, anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, you've always said from the start, they can convert that money and make it into a signing bonus. But, of course, yes, it's going to cost more down the road. Right. All right, so what's next? Hey, let's renegotiate the contract. Oh, yeah, really? Why? What's in it for me? I don't understand. Oh, so you guys want to make it easier to move on for me? Or I don't know what you're trying to do. Are you going to support me this year? Is this for support next year or for the other quarterback 2 years down the road? So, I mean, again, renegotiate, sure, it might help the team out either way. But what I want to say to Green Bay is renegotiate. I mean, his contract is so quarterback-friendly, it's disgusting. It doesn't get any easier. He's been so nice, it's ridiculous. He's what? What is he right now? The eighth, the sixth, the fifth highest paid quarterback in football. Very manageable.
He's tied with Jared Goff.
Right.
That's all we need to say.
And drop the mic and let's end the show. See you later. Okay. So this is on them. They got to figure it out. And Aaron Rodgers, with this situation, does have a little power here to see where his future goes a little bit.
And this is the core of it. We've said it a few times, and every once in a while, I see what others are writing or I catch wind of what others are saying, and I don't know how widespread this thought is, but in my mind, Chris, it's a very, very simple proposition. The Packers are now in the year-to-year phase of the Aaron Rodgers contract, where they truly can say, after 2021, where are we? Do we continue? Do we not continue? Oh, okay, we continue. After 2022, where are we? Do we continue? Do we not continue? That's where they are on the back end of this deal because it was a long-term deal tacked onto the end of the last long-term deal that he did back in 2013. Rodgers wants, and this is something I reported right after he gave us all that curveball following the NFC Championship loss to the Buccaneers, where he seemed to be talking like a guy who may not be back this year. He wants commitment, not necessarily money, but commitment. He wants to be tied to the team so he doesn't have to spend all of 2021, every practice, every game, every post game, every moment wondering when this season ends, is this the year that they say we're activating the Jordan Love plan? And as I've said, I think Mark Murphy is far more of a genius than we're giving him credit for. He's found a way to put Aaron Rodgers in what I call the sweet spot of pissed off, where he's mad enough to go out and be the MVP, but he's not so mad that he's ready to say to the Packers, screw you, I'm out of here. After this season, maybe he will be. But I think that's where Murphy's trying to keep him. And the fact that they haven't done anything with his contract and they haven't exercised their absolute privilege to reduce his cap number this year, but make it more expensive next year from a cap standpoint to move on, make it trickier to move on next year from a cap standpoint, I feel like Murphy's trying to keep him in that range of just pissed off enough to be great, but not so pissed off that he wants to leave.
Well, I mean, yes. Listen, I hear you there. I do. I don't think Aaron Rodgers needs Mark Murphy either way to be that. I don't think it needs it. I think he wants to be great no matter what. Did last year piss him off? Yeah, of course it did. I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, did it motivate him? I agree with you there. There's something to that. There's no doubt. It was his second year in that offense, everything like that. People were kind of starting to clamor and doubt him a little bit. So all that led to Aaron Rodgers being on his A game week after week after week. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just sit here with all the way you just explained it. Okay, yeah. Well, what are they going to do? All right, so you're talking about the salary cap thing and the converting it into the signing bonus. They don't want to do that because, like you've said, it's gonna count against them down the road, right? The next few years. So what's the next? It
ties him to the Packers for 2 years as a practical matter. If they max out the cap space this year by shrinking his cap number and giving him a huge signing bonus and converting and moving and bumping, it makes it much harder a year from now to say we're going to trade him and we're going forward with Jordan Love. I think that's the practical impediment if they would do it.
Right. So that speaks volumes. I mean, so they didn't do that. So there you go. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers, of course, has no choice there. They could do that. But it would, again, maybe give him what he wants to go where, I got a little more security here with the team. They are maybe tied with me in the next year or two. But then the next option is what? Oh, renegotiate? And what? You give me a little bit more money up front? Even, okay, I'm a $100 millionaire already. You're going to give me more money up front to what? Make my future, more undecided and I have no idea what's going to go on or if I'm going to be here or anything like that? That's not going to happen. There's just no way. At least I don't think of it that way. I mean, I don't know. Just the more we sit here and the more this offseason goes on, the more I just think this is headed towards, like we talked about a little last week, it's like Brady in New England. It's going to be the same thing. There's going to be Rodgers in Green Bay. Green Bay hasn't done enough quite to support him. Their team's in a different spot, thinking about going a different direction. And he's just going to go, okay, I'll see you later. I'm going to go try to end my career somewhere else and win a Super Bowl somewhere else. I really feel like we're headed in that direction with these two.
And let's remember, they pulled the pin on this grenade nearly a year ago when they moved up at the bottom of round one, gave up a fourth-round pick, packaged it with their first-round pick, went up several spots to draft a quarterback. At a time when Aaron Rodgers was the exact opposite of Brett Favre. They drafted Rodgers in 2005 because Favre was 4 years into his annual will I or won't I retire shtick. Rodgers consistently has said, Green Bay is where I want to stay. I want to play into my 40s, and I want to play my entire career with Green Bay. He had given them no reason whatsoever to be thinking about a succession plan. Now, Chris, I do recall when we did your quarterback rankings last year.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're
right.
right.
I do recall you detecting some slippage in 2019.
Okay.
That slippage was reversed last year.
Well, yes. I mean, he went from the greatest thing I've ever seen to, like, the slightly not the greatest thing I've ever seen. That's what I was talking about. I was just saying there's a little slippage for Aaron Rodgers, like where, yes, he wasn't quite as explosive running out of the pocket and doing things like that to where there was some plays where you go, ooh, we got shoelace tackled. Ooh, 2-3 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. He would have ran away from that guy. Yeah, okay, just some natural, but not like concerning. Not concerning. Like, no doubt in my mind that it was still, top 3, top 5 quarterback in football type of play and type of player still. And then, yes, I mean, of course, last year was phenomenal. But, I mean, Mike, I don't know. I mean, where does this go? If you're Aaron Rodgers, are you up for that? Are you up for renegotiating your contract and making it easier for Green Bay to get away from you at some point? I don't know.
No. Right. I don't necessarily want more money. I want commitment. That's what I want. That's why he should be on board with the idea of a simple restructuring that would give him the large majority of his 2021 compensation. And they've already paid him a $6.8 million roster bonus. That ship has sailed. That could have been converted. Now there's a $14.7 million base salary that could be converted, all but $1.075 million of it, and max out cap space this year and get some help around him. But it ties the two sides together more likely for the next 2 seasons. That's why he's saying my future's undecided. My future's not resolved. My future's a beautiful mystery. He's smart enough to know the way these contracts work and the flexibility that teams like to have because they want to be able to use it if they choose to do so. And this all goes back to last year. We never have gotten any real clarity from the Green Bay Packers. Think about it.
No.
Nearly a year has gone by. Why in the F, pardon me, on a Monday morning, did they get Jordan Love in the first round of the draft last year? What were they thinking, Chris, when you got a good thing going with Aaron Rodgers? You've got several more solid seasons of Aaron Rodgers as your starting quarterback. You got to the NFC Championship. You've got clear needs. And instead of addressing them in round 1, you give up a 4th-round pick to move up to get a guy that is either going to supplant Aaron Rodgers at some point or ultimately be a wasted pick. There's no middle ground. He's either going to take over for Aaron Rodgers before Rodgers is ready to go, or he's going to be a wasted 1st-round and 4th-round pick. There's nothing else.
I listen. That's the $1 million question. Added to the fact of, doing nothing really for the team while you're in the Super Bowl window, and again, here we are. We're talking about renegotiating the contract, and hey, Aaron, carry us on the field. And now the season's over. Can you carry us off the field? Because we got no money to figure out how to balance our books. And hey, here we are once again in free agency, and we haven't done jack diddly squat once again this year. I mean, nothing. It's just like, oh, don't worry. Don't worry, Aaron, you'll come back and carry us. Don't worry. And then we'll screw you over, and we'll find another way to do something. I don't know. But, yes, I don't know, Mike. Green Bay is one of those teams. Of course, they've been very successful. They have a formula in which the way they do things, whether it's lack of spending on free agency, like you and I have talked about before. They want to build through the draft. They like to keep their own. I don't know, but it probably said that it was time for them to draft a quarterback. And in a lot of ways, listen, like I was watching, I want to say this was Dan Graziano the other day on TV, just a little segment I was watching where he was a little talking about this and just talking about how, hey, Green Bay's been successful for the last 20 years because of this formula. And he's right. And I agree with him. But have they really? Like, let's really. I know it's been relevant and in the playoffs, but they've had 2 of the 5 greatest quarterbacks in the history of the league. 2 of the 5 greatest in the history of the league as far as I'm concerned. And they've won 1 Super Bowl with each. I don't know if that's necessarily like a great success rate to me when you put it that way. Wait, you've had 2 of the all-time 5 greatest quarterbacks in the history of the league. You've won 2 Super Bowls. That tells me you've done something else wrong in supporting them too. And I think you certainly can make that argument, alongside of, they've been relevant in the playoffs and all that.
It's the corporate ownership angle. It's what's good
right.
enough. It's maximizing profit. You don't have to have that. And this can be counterproductive.
I know.
It can blow up in your face.
Right.
But look at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did this past year. The Packers would never do that.
Yeah,
They would never go all in the way the Packers have.
Right.
The Packers are about slow and steady wins the race once every 20 years.
Yeah.
That's what the Packers have. We're always in the race. But we're never going to do anything crazy to try to win the race right now. If we do, that's great. Chances are we will from time to time, once every 15 to 20 years. But every other year, packed stadium, 70-year waiting list, fans are happy, not thrilled, but they're happy. We're always relevant. We're always on the porch. We're always near the door. And that's good enough. And again, we've had that conversation with teams that have traditional owners. We've had that conversation about the Packers. Which teams, when they say our goal is to win the Super Bowl this year, really mean it? Which ones are acting that way, that our goal is to win the Super Bowl this year? Clearly, last year, the Packers' goal was not to win the Super Bowl, or they wouldn't have drafted Jordan Love. It's that obvious.
Yeah.
It's right in front of our faces. And what happens is, Chris, the ardent, zealous fans are so wired to support everything the team does, even if they privately are asking themselves, what the hell is the team doing, that they'll fight back with us.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You don't use two quarterbacks. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you draft a quarterback in round one when you have a team that's otherwise close to being Super Bowl ready, and you mean to tell me that team is trying to win the Super Bowl this year? Bull crap.
Yeah, bull crap. And you could really say that about the rest of their picks to go along with that. You know, they were all like somewhat future-looking type draft picks. So where you go, okay, so agreed with you. I don't know, Mike. Where does it go? Where does this whole situation go? I mean, I've kind of told you my thought is just where I feel like we're going towards an end of the year separation. But I mean, I don't know. Do you think Rodgers is going to try to renegotiate his contract here? Do that? I don't expect. I don't expect him to.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
Right.
Here, look, I've used this example in the past as it relates to Tom Brady's potential exit from the NFL. I think the same thing applies to Aaron Rodgers' potential exit from Green Bay. Final scene, both longest yards. Paul Crewe goes to pick up the football as the warden stands there watching, and eventually Paul Crewe brings the football back to the warden and says, stick this in your trophy case. So Packers win the Super Bowl, Aaron gets the Lombardi, and he gives it to Mark Murphy, and he says, stick this in your trophy case. That's what I'm rooting for. And then the beautiful mystery unfolds in 2022, whether he just exits for Jeopardy or something else or plays for a different team next year. That's how what do you root for? I root for a great story, and I can't think of a story that would be greater than that for 2021.
It'd be pretty good. I mean, like we've talked about like Pittsburgh, right? With like Big Ben, and they probably look at the Buccaneers and all of that, and wait, why can't we do that defense or protect them and do all of that? Like the other Buccaneers effect might be right here. Like, I mean, don't you think Brady's probably embolden a person like Rodgers in this situation right now to look at that and go, wait, I can do that. I can leave somewhere and go somewhere else and do it. I don't have to be at the same team forever. You know, you won't be too harshly judged or all that. So you agree with me? I see your head nodding there.
Oh yeah. And I think it would be perfect if his path takes him to New England.
Oh, yeah,
now, I don't know how he and Bill Belichick would coexist,
right.
but my goodness. I mean, we've had that alternate history. What happens if Aaron Rodgers had been with the Patriots for the past 15 years instead of Tom Brady for 20? How many more, less, the same trophies would they win?
Yeah.
But, yeah, the idea that you see where the dust settles on 2021, you find your best spot, you call your shot, you continue your career in a spot where you think that they're going to go all in for whatever you have left. Because the last guy in the organization who's worried about the 5-year plan is the quarterback who's on a 1 year at a time plan as a practical matter and is trying to win now. And he truly is trying to win a Super Bowl now because he may not be around next year. So, yeah, I'm intrigued by that. All right, we're supposed to do NFC North draft needs in this segment now that we've fully exhausted the Aaron Rodgers. Do you want to kick it down the road? We can do it next segment. Well, let's keep – is there anything more you got on Aaron Rodgers then, Chris?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think we've hit all angles. I mean, unless there's something else that you haven't brought up, I'm good. Whatever you want to do here.
I missed the note in the document that we share electronically that we can kick the NFC North draft needs to the next segment. So I apologize for the clunkiness of the last 45 seconds.
You.
I just think that there won't be a new contract for Aaron Rodgers.
No, right. I'm with you.
Mark Murphy will try to keep him in that sweet spot of pissed offedness where he's great, but not over the top angry. And there's no reason to think they're not going to be 13-4 or 14-3. It's still going to take a while to get used to, or something close to that kind of excellence in the NFC North. The question is, can they navigate the playoff field? Can they overcome the Buccaneers? Can they make it to the Super Bowl? Can they win the Super Bowl? And it would be beautiful if they do. And Aaron Rodgers says, "Stick this in your trophy case."
I know.
Moves on. That would be beautiful.
Well,
and how could Packers fans be upset about that? If you're a Packers fan, do you want 4 more years with Aaron Rodgers and no Super Bowl win, or 1 more year and he exits as a Super Bowl champion? I feel like that should be a poll question. What would you rather have?
So. You're right.
What would you rather have?
Yeah.
Right? You want another trophy?
Yeah.
I'll take 1 more year and a trophy over 4 more years and no trophy any day of the week. I think that applies. Wouldn't that apply? I don't know that applies to any quarterback, but as a fan, you want your team to win Super Bowls. Yes, give me a Super Bowl. I'll take it. 1 more year with Rodgers in a Super Bowl, I'll take it. It's probably a 95% poll question if we do it, don't you think?
Yes, I would think so. I would think more people are going to take that angle for sure. I mean, it's a Super Bowl Lombardi trophy. They're not that easy to come by, as we're seeing, right here anyways in the Green Bay organization. And I just sit here again and just go, this is why the guy's the greatest of all time to me, because it's just going to be, oh, hey, no problem. We're not going to do anything to really improve the team for the second year in a row. You just carry us and get us there, and hopefully, you can play totally perfect in the NFC Championship game this time. Totally perfect. And not make one mistake. Because I know you made one mistake on the interception, which was pass interference down the middle. But as long as that doesn't happen, maybe we can win it. And maybe you could pull like 3 rabbits out of your butt while you're doing it too. And that'll help. I mean, that's what they ask him to do every year. And here we are, 2021, going right back to the drawing board. I know it's a good team, but don't ever go above and beyond Green Bay and make it a great team. Just have the great quarterback make your good team look great. And then, you guys could fall short and we can all crap on the great quarterback for not getting them over the top. That's what they do to him every year. And that's why Green Bay pisses me off.
You had me pondering the question there of whether it's worse to have 3 rabbits in your butt or 3 rockets up your butt. I'm not quite sure.
Rockets.
But I think the way to word the question is, if you're a Packers fan, would you rather have 1 more year with Rodgers and a guaranteed Super Bowl, or 4 more years and a reasonable shot each year of winning a Super Bowl, but no guarantee? I think that's the way to phrase it.
Yeah.
That's the tougher question.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.